Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, Harvest Family Finance is talking about you have got to love yourself to make money. You've got to love yourself to make money. Now, we have four main categories that we call them the four M's of mastery that I speak about consistently, and everything that I do talk about is down to these four headings, which is mind, make, manage, and multiply. And we're going to talk about each one of these in turn with the subject matter today. But let me jump right into it. It is important, it is so important that you love yourself. I want you ladies to start to really understand the power and the beauty in loving yourself. I know a lot of us are moms, our wives, are this. We've got businesses, we've got work, we've got a lot of things going on. But it is really important that you focus on you. It is really important that you love yourself. Now, whilst that might seem that is so far apart from money, it has everything to do with money, because as a man thinketh, so shall he be. If you believe that you're worth abundance, so shall it be. If you believe your wealth, you are made to be wealthy, to be rich, to be flourishing, to be all the things that you are trying to do right now. You need to understand it in your mind, first of all, that you are those things. And this is why it's important. You've got to love yourself. You've got to understand that you are beautifully and wonderfully made, and that everything that you have is already been set up for you to be wealthy, because that's how God made us. As a man thinketh, so is he. Proverbs 23, verse 7. You have to understand, and you have to start to really say that to yourself, that I am Rubizai Shalin Motoko. I am a multi-millionaire. You have to start to say to yourself all these words to affirm yourself, to really understand. Because I won't lie, even I am going through the journey of understanding. I think sometimes life, the experiences you've been through, your childhood, the words that have been spoken over your life start to diminish the actual real belief that you are made to be wealthy. You are made to live an abundant life. You are made to have everything and more, both your needs and your wants. That's what you were made for. And you need to believe it for yourself for it to actually happen. So, first, in that mindset is everything. Before you even look at the accounts, before you start to look at the money and how you're going to make this wealth, multiple streams of income, all of these things that you've read and seen about, those are all lovely things. Those are really important things, but your mind must be aligned to the truth. And the truth is that you and I are made for abundance. We must believe that. Now, sometimes you think you believe it, and you really need to test yourself to understand if you do, if you don't. Are there shops that you currently don't go in because you don't think you fit there or you have enough money? That is one of the clues to show you, to make you understand that you don't believe that you are made for abundance. Start walking into those stores, start owning them. Go into Harrods, go into this, go into that, go into those shops where your mind instantly tells you, oh, no, I couldn't ever afford anything from that shop. No, darling, your Father in heaven said that you can afford anything in that shop. And you need to start to train your mind to think in that way. As you start to train your mind, as you start going into those places and spaces, your mind is going to start to attract exactly that which you want. Your actions are going to start to follow what you are looking for. Your habits are going to start to follow what you want. So it's really important that you really take some time into working with your mind. Work on your mindset. Understand that you are worthy. You are worthy. And I want you, if you're the kind of person, I used to find affirmations like I couldn't, right? But actually, I understand the psychology behind it. Start to say the things as though they were. Start to affirm yourself. Start to say to you, like I said, I am Rumbidzai Shalim Jowo. I'm a multimillionaire. Start to say it. And yes, at the beginning, it's gonna sound strange. It's gonna sound foreign. It's going to be hard, but you have to start to say it. There is power in the mouth. There is power in the words that you speak to yourself. So it's so important that you start to say things as if they were so, because that's what God promised you. So the first thing I want to just you to take away is that in order to make money, in order to love yourself, you are going to have to work on your mindset. You are going to have to work on your belief system about what is affordable to you, what is accessible to you, what you can achieve. And it's also down to things like, because of where you've come from, your childhood, your experiences being a migrant, you actually don't believe that you can go beyond a certain pay scale, a certain salary. You can earn anything that you want to earn. You really can. But you have to start to break down all those things that were said to you and that your mind has picked up, that say that you are not enough, that say that you are not able, that say that you do not fit into that category, that say that no, actually, I couldn't possibly earn that. I couldn't possibly go into that shop. You have to start to silence those voices and start to inject the truth. The truth is that you are wealthy. You are able to do anything. You are able to do anything through Christ that strengthens you. God gives you the power to make wealth. Now, if God can give you the power to make wealth, who are we to argue with God? So I really want to encourage you, ladies, your mindset. Start to talk to yourself. Start to be in places. Honestly, I say one of the things that I started to do was to just go on a coffee solo date each week. Pick a nice cafe. If that's your thing, sit in there, belong. And some of those things are really necessary for some people because their mindsets are so far removed to think that how ndokwana sekwaba, how inini, ha rumbiwe kwa. No, guys, you are made to be there. So I really want you to start to think about the places and the spaces and the things that you have said you cannot, or you don't fit, or you cannot do, because those are the ways to start to break down what you've learned, what you've been programmed, and start to reframe who you are in the truth. So, again, I'll say it again and again and again. Your mindset is key. It is key to understand that your identity in Christ, what God said you are. He said in Ephesians 2, verse 10, we are his workmanship created for good works. You and I are his workmanship. We are created for good works. So, what could stop us? Created beautifully, wonderfully, perfect by God himself. You and I, we are those people, and we need to start to live it. So you got to love yourself. Now I'm going to move on to make. Now, make is about how you make your money, what you earn, whether it's through a business, through your 9 to 5, through your career, what you make. You've got to love yourself enough to understand that you have everything you need in your hands. You are skilled, you are educated, you have experience. I think sometimes we start to not really see ourselves, right? We don't see ourselves, oh, I can't possibly go for that promotion. I can't go for that job. I can't do this business. I can't do this. I can't. Oh no, I don't fit into that room, into that meeting, into that business, into that. You are made perfectly and you can do it. Now, in the make, you've got to love yourself to invest in your education. Be sure that at any given point in your life, you are learning. Learning is the greatest investment that you can ever do. I always say people talk about investments and they always think the money ones, oh, I must be in stocks and shares, ISA, I must be in this, I must, there's gold being sold, let me be in that. All of those investments are really good, right? I'm not disputing that. But the biggest investment you can ever make is in yourself. You need to understand that these seasons in life, particularly for women, I actually coach a lot of women who've gone through divorce. And a lot of them have had to start from scratch, from nothing. I also deal with a lot of single moms, and they are building. But particularly for the divorced ladies, I always say, whatever you built, whatever that you feel is being taken, no one can take away who you are and the skills that you have. So never let anyone make you think that no matter what situation you find yourself, you have to understand that the skills and experiences that you've gained all through the years are yours. They are transferable, they are useful, and they're required. I know some seasons might have felt like you could have been in a job you hated, you didn't really understand, it's not really what you wanted to do, but God does not waste any part of your story is not wasted. That job gave you a skill. That job prepared you for something. That work, that business that failed, trust me, I know about businesses that fail. I have had many. But each closure of each business has taught me something. Doing that business has taught me something. It has developed me. It has grown me. So don't look at all these things and think, oh my gosh, well, I didn't make it. I had to close down, the embarrassment. Oh, this job was so lowly paid. I used to do this menial job. It doesn't really, what did I do it for? It was a waste of time. You learned something. So I really want you to love yourself enough to keep making sure that in the places where you're earning money, particularly if we look at your career, always be going forward. Progress in your career. Now, also women, we naturally also, when we become mothers, we tend to stagnate because you've got a lot going on, right? You've got the kids, you've got school run, you've got nurse care, bills for nursery, and there's this silent thing that starts to happen to a lot of women when they're childbearing, when their kids are young. They stay stagnant. And that's okay for a certain time. But I want you, if you're a woman here, and everything I always talk about, it's my own experience. You get to a point where your child is now old enough. Snap out of that, just staying there. It's time to see, actually, I've got skills. I've been working. I've been doing this. What can I do? Always ensure that whatever career that you are getting the most that you can get in terms of remuneration, in terms of pay. Be sure that you're working at a place that offers the best benefits. Be sure that you're in a grade that makes sense with your experience. Yes, you might have had to start at a certain place. That's fine. But we are going to be moving. Every time we're in an organization, we're going to work with excellence. We're going to show up, we're going to show off, and we're going to do the thing because you are able to. Do not discount yourself. Don't forget yourself. Don't always say, oh, these other people can go up a promotion. Have you actually thought you can go up for that promotion? And I know, trust me, I know. You start to think, well, the added responsibility, how will I manage? And those are real factors to think about. But there comes a time where that's now excuses. There comes a time when the kids are grown. There comes a time when you have capacity. And in that time, you need to make sure that you are earning the highest that you can earn in whatever job, whatever role that is. And if in that place they cannot pay you what you are truly worth, move. Change is your biggest friend. Change is your biggest friend. I want you to love yourself enough to understand your value in the workplace. Understand what skills you bring to the table. Understand that these people, when they interview you, they know you can do the job because they've read your CV. They have seen what you have done. They're now coming, you come into an interview. Don't go into an interview saying that you're begging for a job. Go into an interview saying they are begging for me because I have value to do the work they required. So I want you ladies to be bold and courageous in your career moves, because you have to love yourself enough to make sure that you are getting the true value of who you are. Go out, take a look at your CV, take a look at every single job that you have done. This is an exercise, some work. You know me, I always give you guys work to go and do, because I honestly believe that it's all well and good coming into these sessions. My biggest desire is that whatever seed is sown in this room, in this space, at this time, in this time you spent with me, that something will come out of it that's going to elevate you, that's going to grow you, that's going to push you forward. So I want you to take away this exercise and really take some time to do this. Go away, look at your CV. And if you don't, in fact, look for a fresh piece of paper and say, from the age I started to work, right from the very first job you had, list it. I want you to list it. I want you to list the ones that you only were there for 2 weeks. I want you to list the ones that you hate. I want you to list the ones you loved. List every single job you've ever done. What this exercise is going to show you is how valuable you are, what experiences you have, what skills you have. And from that page, I want you to draw out what experiences, skills, and talents, what did I learn from this? Now, when you start to understand your value, you're going to go out in the marketplace projecting that I am valuable. You're going to go out there for an interview. You're going to go out there to pitch your business idea. You're going to go out there understanding your value. You have got to love yourself enough to understand your value. It is important, because when you don't understand your value, you are devaluing everything. You are devaluing you. And you were made for greatness. You were made for abundance. God blessed your hands. The work of your hands are blessed. That means no matter work that you're doing, it should be fruitful. You should be compensated well. So love yourself to be valued accurately and correctly, and be bold to move. That place that you're in, if you can ask for a raise, if you can ask for this, fair play, do that. If they can't offer you, it's time to go. Keep being bold and courageous, because in this make banner, the ceiling is your capability. Jobs give us a ceiling. We will only give you this range to this range, but actually your mind has no ceiling. There is an infinite amount that you can earn. You and I, if we're in workplaces particularly, where you're undervalued, you're underpaid, and you're stressed even on top, it's time to move. So let's do this exercise. Really take some time, do this exercise, and see the value that's within you, because you are so valuable and you have so many skills already. Deuteronomy 28 verse 12. The Lord will bless the work of your hands. It's already done. Sis, it's already done. You're already blessed. So let's not waste the blessings that we have in our hands by devaluing us when God has made us more valuable. Right? So let's do that. So that's make. Now moving on to manage. Love yourself enough to manage the resources that you have. Manage your money. You've got to love yourself enough to steward your money well. Not having a budget, not having emergency funds, not having any run road for any issues that might come up in life is not loving yourself. Because someone who you are, some of your mothers, some of you might not be, but you love somebody. When you love somebody, what do? You make sure that they're protected. You make sure that they're covered. If you've got children, you do anything for them to make sure that they are protected and covered from danger. Redundancy is danger. Being in debt is danger. Love yourself to protect yourself from the dangers that are there financially. Spend with wisdom. You have got to love yourself to start to break impulse buying, start to break not having a budget, start to break habits that are keeping you broke. I have another teaching on what's keeping you broke, the habits. Can you go and take a look at it? We discussed loads of habits in that session. Understand that loving yourself is making sure that you are stewarding what you have well. It's like your personal care. You have to manage that. You need to steward your body in order to be who you are, in order to be healthy, in order to look good. So be it with your finances, they are a part of particularly your mental well being. By protecting and stewarding and managing your money well, what you're doing is loving yourself because you are saving yourself the stresses that come with finances that are in disarray, with finances that are keeping you up late at night because you can't pay your bills, with finances that are keeping you so stressed because everything's a mess. Love yourself enough to be financially literate, to read about how to manage your funds, to understand how to budget intentionally, spend in alignment with your purpose, build margins, emergency funds. In this day and age where redundancies are literally everywhere you turn, if you are made redundant today, are you going to be able to cope? Do you have a runway? Do you have a margin in your accounts to be able to survive? That is loving yourself, protecting yourself and your peace and your mental health because you're looking after your money is loving yourself. So steward that money well. Steward that money well. Have an emergency fund. Proverbs 6, verse 6 to 8 says, the ant stores in the summer for the future need. Let's be that wise, ladies. Let's be that wise to love ourselves, to save money for emergencies, to save money for anything that might happen, because we don't know what tomorrow holds. So love yourself enough to have good financial habits and systems in place. Lastly, we'll look at multiplying. You've got to love yourself enough to look at investing, to look at legacies, to look at protection. Loving yourself is ensuring that you have insurance for the things that you own, that you hold dear to you. What does that do? It allows you, in a moment of crisis, to have order and peace. Ensure you are insured, because that's loving yourself. When something breaks down, you're not going to be stressed. You're going to take some money off your, either, if you have an emergency fund or if it's insured, you're going to ring them up and they're going to bring you the brand new thing. That is loving yourself. Honestly, you all know here the stresses that come with anything that breaks down. Your washing machine, your car. Before we even go to the big things, these things are systems and processes that help manage our lives. And women, we have a lot of things we have to do. There's a lot of hats we wear. There's a lot of things we are accountable for and have to do. So love yourself enough to have systems in place that protect the things that help your life. To have systems in place that help you have time to rest. Oh my goodness, rest. I want you to love yourself to rest. I know we live in a world where it's all about booked and being busy. And God never wanted that for us. He created the world 6 days And the seventh day he rested. It is a commandment, rest. What do you get from rest? You get renewal of the mind. You get renewal of the body. And if you're older, a woman, or yes, there's the P word that comes with a lot of changes, and you need to rest your body. Your body even needs even more rest. You can tell what age I am, but it's the truth. You need to rest. You need to rest enough to be a good mom. Because when you're not rested, you're shouting up and down at everyone. Everyone in the house is stressed because you haven't rested. Rest, my sister, rest. Now, this is a big one for me because I am a busybody. And in the last 2 years, God has really been speaking to me about resting. And I've seen the power of being intentional with rest. Rest looks like putting certain things down for a moment. For a moment. I know we have a lot of things we want to achieve, but we need to look after ourselves. You are irreplaceable. You are valuable. You've got to rest, right? In multiplying, I did the little sidebar there because rest was just really on my heart. But in multiplying, investing is important. You're not going to be able to do 1,000 things like we've just said, but be smart. Invest in things that are growing without you having to do. Invest in businesses that can work without you there. You've got to love yourself enough to find ways to make money without using every hour or using you every time. And that looks like investing. Invest in a business. When you're making a business, when you're building a business, be sure that it's a business that can work without you. Right there, that is how you're going to build legacy. That's how you're going to make the most of your investments. Don't build businesses that you are literally another employee there. That without you, they can't work. That without you, it doesn't work. We're trying to build businesses where you could be anywhere in the world and that business is running and that business is bringing you income. So be smart, ladies. Love yourself enough to build businesses that don't require you to always be there to function and to make money. Love yourself enough to be smart about how you invest. Take a look at the options that are out there. Nothing I say is financial advice, it is education and awareness. Take a look at stocks and shares. What does that look like? There's this thing called compound interest people talk about. What is that? And I want ladies who are part of my tribe to really understand compound interest. It is the eighth wonder of the world. That thing will make you a millionaire by just putting money into stocks and shares, ISA. It's compounding. 10 years, you'll be amazed what you can achieve. But understand it. Go away and research and understand what that looks like. What is that thing that Rumbi keeps talking about? But it's loving yourself enough to do something for yourself that will be working all the time and will give you income through dividends, or it gives you money for legacy for your children. But you've got to love yourself enough to invest properly and to have educated yourself enough to understand what is a worthy investment and what isn't. And also, love yourself enough to invest in your health. There's only one of you. There's only one of you. And there's a lot of body parts that we only have one. You have one back. If you do your back in, that's it for you. Invest in your health. Now, a lot of people think that I'm all about not using money, saving money, and all of that. But what you have to understand is this. If you invest in certain things, actually spend money. in a gym, in a good membership situation, in yoga, Pilates, whatever your thing is. Investing in those things is one of the most worthy investments that you'll ever have. Look after your body, eat the right things, rest, movement. Choose whatever form of movement works with your body, with your conditions, with everything, but move your body. Be selfish in that area. As women, we tend to put everyone else's needs and wants before ourselves, but we need to make sure that we love ourselves enough to look after this temple that God has given us. This temple, when looked after, can produce a mighty harvest. Love yourself enough to invest in your body. So that's the fourth, the multiply. It's about investing. So today I just wanted to just share with you those things because, in this month of love, there's a lot of we love this, Valentine's and all of that. But it says in the Bible, and I was laughing this morning that we often look at love thy neighbor as thyself. It's the love the neighbor we always concentrate on. But the second half of that verse actually says, as you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you're not going to love your neighbor. In the same vein, if you don't love yourself, there's certain things that are not going to happen. So this is why I want you to work particularly on your mind. Understand you love yourself. Nobody else will love you like you will love you. And I know you're a mom. I know you're an auntie. I know you're a wife. You are a partner. You're a this. You're a that. I know. Don't expect anyone to love you before you love yourself. Don't outsource love to other people. It's an in-house job. You've got to love yourself. And when you start to love yourself, there are certain things that you will not accept. You will not accept not being paid for the value that you have. You will not accept people treating you badly. You will not accept spending and not having proper systems in place for your wealth. You will not accept the opportunities that are there because you are busy discounting yourself out of rooms and spaces and conversations. Love yourself to understand that you are beautifully and wonderfully made, that you've got everything you need. But you've got to love yourself enough to make those things happen. So today I just wanted you to share that with you because for me, I do talk about money, but there's so much more to do with the psychology, the mindset, the belief system of a person that determines their wealth, determines how they're going to do financially, determines how they're going to thrive or going to suffer financially. So a lot of these sessions will be talking around subject matters such as this because honestly, you're not going to be able to live an abundant life if you don't believe that you can. Because that belief is going to make you bold enough to stand in rooms and in spaces and places and say, I'm here. And actually, I'm not shy to say, this is who I am. This is what I'm worth. Take it or leave it. That is going to allow you to have businesses where you're charging the right amount for what you are offering. Now, that's a biggie for me because even that not loving yourself will make you charge discounted prices and make you think, oh, why would, I can't really, that's too much money. But your competitors are charging boldly and fiercely. Look at you. It's important to understand the value that you have, but you can only do that if you love yourself. So, ladies, go out there, start doing the work to start to understand who you truly are and love yourself fearlessly. Thank you. Now, one of the things that I always say to you is that I've created Harvest Family Finance for women to transform their lives financially. I want women to thrive. I want women to thrive even more than they imagined. I've set up a course. I've got a course called The Big Shift. It launched in February, on the 9th of February, and I'm so excited. It's on my website. There are lots of different ways you can take part in the course. There's a paper version, there's a video version, there are loads of ways. But what I will say is that I want you to go away, have a look at it, have a think. I will always say, if you're not ready to do the work, don't bother because you're wasting money, which means you're not stewarding your money right. And I talk about stewarding your money right. How many times have you bought a course and not done anything? So if you're not willing to do the work, don't do it. But if you are, it's there on the website, ready to go, ready for you to purchase. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so grateful. Make sure you follow me on Harvest Family Finance or Rubidzaye Mutopo on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Take a look up our website. We've got free templates, we've got free guides, free newsletters. There's so much on our website. And we've got books for your kids. I don't forget the kids because you know what? If we get our kids understanding who they are from a young age, listen, we are busy rewiring and learning. They're not going to do that. None of our kids are going to do that. So I've got books already set out for them, trying to help you as parents to help them. Thank you so much for today and love yourself.